Sophia, why are you doing this? Frankly, I want to confront you with some of the criticism, and I'd like to ask that you be honest and open about it.
That's absolutely wrong. It could not happen that an Arab justice would send a Jewish president to jail. You won't survive 1 minute there if you go to Gaza. The IDF was fighting the Jews who were living in Gaza and just like pulling them outside of their homes. They're violating the American values that my friend told me one day that she wants to become a suicide bomber.
You talk about how you lived the reality of growing up in Israel, a Jewish state. There is quite a bit of criticism against Israel, calling it apartheid, having Arabs live in Israel, Muslims live in Israel. I know it's just a little over 20% of the population in Israel is Arab and Muslim. And I'd like to hear from you, how were you treated as a Muslim? Were you segregated? I saw a comment by some commentators that Arabs are expected to live in only Arab quarters or in certain areas. Can you provide some truth and clarity on that?
That's absolutely wrong and could not be farther from the truth. Israel is not an apartheid state. Israel is a strong, beautiful, multi-ethnic democracy that provides its 20% Arab citizens, which most of them are Muslims, but we also have Christians and Druze, full rights, just as they give the Jewish people. I, as Arab citizen of Israel, received full rights. I received education, healthcare. My mom was a single mom, so we depended on welfare. This is how I grew up. Arabs, you have Supreme Court judges, you have Knesset members, like parliament members, you have ministers. They can achieve like the highest ranks and everywhere. We had an Arab Supreme Court judge who sent the ex-president of the state, who is Jewish, to jail. Can this happen in an apartheid state? It could not happen that an Arab justice would send a Jewish president to jail. You talked about segregation. This is also false. I lived as an Arab in a Jewish town. 40 years ago, my mom moved to a Jewish town. She lived there. This is where I grew up. Arabs can go to Jewish public schools, they can go to Arab schools, they can go to mixed schools. Arabs actually can live almost like everywhere in Israel. It would be open for them. But frankly, I think Jews cannot live everywhere.
What is your response to the criticism that Gaza is essentially an open-air prison created by Israel?
We need to put the facts right. Israel left Gaza in 2005. Gaza is getting billions and millions in monetary aid. This money doesn't get to the people. It goes to Hamas to fund its terror against Israeli civilians and Israeli cities. And it goes to the leadership. Look at the leadership. Abu Marzouk, Khalid Mashal, Ismail Haniyeh. All of them are multi-billionaires. What did they do that they are multi-billionaires? They took the people's money. They took the cement to build underground tunnels, 300 miles of underground tunnels, instead of building schools, hospitals, universities. They stole the fuel from people. They're executing gays. You cannot be gay in Gaza. I see a lot of gay people marching, supporting Hamas. You won't survive 1 minute there if you go to Gaza.
مثليين في فلسطين، شو رايك فيهم هدول؟
طبعا هون بفلسطين هذا يعني مش مقبول نهائيا.
Palestine is unacceptable.
بفلسطين مش مقبول نهائيا.
It's very unacceptable.
ما بنستقبل هاي يعني مثل هاي الحالات بنحاربها.
We don't like that and we are against it. Why?
You hear this term proportionate response. Shouldn't Israel engage in proportionate response? Why should so many more Palestinians die in this war in comparison to Israelis? What are your thoughts about that? I mean, you're a Muslim. These are your people.
when they use the proportionate response and it actually incentivized them to have more of their children, more of their women, more of their innocent civilians being killed, because then they know that the world is going to stop Israel. The terrorist organization can continue to live as long as they kill as many of their people, because then the world is going to stop from fighting them back. But it doesn't meet the fact. It doesn't meet the reality. The only ethnical cleansing that happened in Gaza is the ethnical cleansing of the Jews who were uprooted from the Gaza Strip in 2005. They had to leave their homes behind. They have to leave their businesses behind, everything. They were forcefully taken from there by the IDF. The IDF was fighting the Jews who were living in Gaza and just like pulling them outside of their homes.
Yeah, but that was a long time ago. But now, when Israel is launching rockets into there and basically bombing hospitals, bombing the streets, I mean, bombing the refugee camps, you see little kids, bombed.
First of all, Israel does not bomb hospitals. This is exactly why Hamas has the command center under Al-Shifa Hospital, which was also confirmed by the US that this is the case. The command center of this terrorist organization is underneath a hospital. Think about it. You look at the pictures from last Veterans Day in New York, when the protester is taking down the American flag on the Veterans Day. Is this something that is acceptable? They're violating the American values. They're violating the liberal values. And I don't think it will stop with the Jews. What's happening in Israel is the war between liberalism and darkness. Liberalism versus darkness. And Israel is at the forefront of this war. But we need to make it clear. And all the countries and nations who value liberalism, they should stand behind Israel. And they should stop whatever is happening in their own countries, because they're next. I can give them the example of my friend when she was 13. She heard my teacher glorifying the Intifada and telling us that if one day we can become a shaheed, then we should take that. He said that enough times that my friend told me one day that she wants to become a suicide bomber. This is how terrorists are being made. And they can be made in a very young age, as young as my friend who was 13, and could be even maybe younger than that if you brainwash the kid from a younger age.
Can you chant from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, and still say that you're not an anti-Semite?
No, you cannot. This is like a paradox. You cannot. One of the things that a lot of the mechanisms that I saw being used on campus and student organizations such as the Student Justice for Palestine, that has nothing to do with justice or standing for the Palestinians, they say like, we're not anti-Semitic, we're anti-Zionist. It's practically like saying, I'm not against women, but I don't think women should have rights. What does anti-Zionism mean? What does Zionism mean? Zionism means that the Jewish people have the right to have a state where they can live safely and free of persecution. This is something that happens to Jews throughout their history from the beginning. And we see it again today. Like, you don't need to look back to the past. It's happening now.
Sophia, why are you doing this? You are obviously saying things that are quite controversial, not very popular, certainly not where you live. You're a Muslim. Why are you risking your life to share what you are sharing? I'd imagine you are risking your life. And so why are you doing this? Is somebody paying you? Is somebody pressuring you? What's in it for you?
Yes. I am risking my life. I was targeted by Hamas supporters after one event that I spoke in. I was targeted by the Student Justice for Palestine at Stanford. I am risking my life, but I cannot stop from speaking the truth. I've been in that reality. I lived through my experiences, and I know what is the truth. And when you see all these lies being spread, it's something that I just cannot stop. I don't have the option of not speaking up. I don't feel like I have the option to not stop it. Like, standing with Israel is not standing against the Islam. Absolutely not. So I don't see here a conflict with me being Muslim. In fact, it only supports the fact that I need to speak up.